So welcome everyone to the Sunday live stream where we go over our weekly watch lists headed into the week of the 21st of December. Okay, so number one, just do whatever you can to stay pretty safe, just because this is the week that Tesla's being added to the S&P, so volatility will reflect that. All right, so weekly watch list. First, we have Apple. Let's switch over to the daily. Now, Apple has been on our watch list. I think this is the fifth week in a row, and that's mainly just because this breakout is so structured that we could play it. I think we've played it like 3 or 4 times already, so we could play it a couple more times too. For example, we're waiting for the retest of this 125.25 level to go long again, and hopefully see a nice little turn here. It's been doing the same amount of thing: test, retest, test, retest, test. Hopefully, we see a retest and then push back up to 128. That alone is enough of a move to warrant a profitable trade, but we could also keep runners and look for a break above wherever this candle wicked, which was 129.58 and above, of course. After Apple, we have Amazon, which is another repeat from last week, and really just because we broke the wedge that we had, and then we also retested it. If we could push it back above this 32.10 or 32.11 level, we should see a nice move to at least 32.66, which again, that's enough of a move to warrant a profitable trade. But again, if we break above, we still have levels above, so 32.85 would probably be my second price target for that type of trade. Again, Amazon, of course, premiums move differently. It's very, very expensive, so if you can't play it, just skip it. Don't worry about how you could go super far out of the money and still get a trade out of it. No, just leave it. And because if you go that far out of the money, you're just gonna get burned. Just leave it, and there's gonna be other opportunities, I promise. We also have BA. BA's in this little bit of a downtrend right now, hoping to see a break above this trend line. And this is mainly based off the fact that not only did airlines get like good news for the stimulus over the weekend, but the stimulus also seems to have reached an agreement. So when it inevitably passes, airlines should see a nice move. If you're looking for a different play in airlines besides BA, I was talking about AAL. I think like 4 weeks ago. So far we've been seeing some nice moves out of that. That could also warrant a solid trade since we're seeing the same sort of pattern here with this sort of descending wedge. Moving on though, Fastly, we still have this massive gap to 120. So that's about it. Every single time we breach high of day, it's likely that you could take a scalp option trade for a couple percent, and that's been working for me so far. So if you're advanced enough of a trader that you could do that on your own, you should be fine. Otherwise, wait for retests. So this 101 level seems relatively important, so we're going to add that here right now. And if we hold this level, we should see keep moving upward. We break down, we're back in the range here. Very, very, very simple to see. Next we have Microsoft. This very, very wide wedge here. Been playing this for a minute as well. Hitting off this level down here, this 210 level. We hit a couple trades off of it. And finally the breakout of this smaller wedge here and test of the top line. We printed a doji on Friday, which is a little interesting. If we didn't get stimulus, I would probably predict more consolidation near this 216 line before a breakout. Since we did get stimulus, I think we see a breakout, probably looking above 221 if you want to scalp it, and if you want to swing it, I would try to get in around like either these 217 levels down here, or maybe somewhere on the wedge around 219. I feel like those are both fine entry points. Next we have Neo. Neo's really just on here because we have this wedge we broke. It was pretty much a perfect break, including the double bottom here that we saw. So as we start to sort of move up here, we were collecting profits, making those gains. Knocking off this top line here is interesting. We did wick it, so we might see some pullback here. But if we come back above this line, I think there's really nothing stopping us from, like, say 51, and then upper here, like 54, and then eventually 57. But this is a very, very nice move from Neo. So I'm hoping to see either pullback then continuation, maybe pull back to around 43, or just straight up continuation. Both of those should be solid. Nvidia, this one's been on the list for quite some time as well. Just as we see this wedge develop more and more and more, squeezing more and more and more. Really just waiting for that break above finally. But if you want to add on this lower trend line for like a longer dated swing, so like I'd say February would be safe, February monthlies. Otherwise, just wait for the break or wait for an alert. But this looks like a very nice setup going into this week, especially with NQ leading a little bit. PLTR, we're already in the trade, but this got messed up. We're already in the trade, but in any case, it looks like a very, very clean setup, at least from what I've seen. It reminds me a lot of how Neo would set up back when it was in these like 20 to 30 to 40 ranges. Now it's like pushing 50. So because it reminds me of that, definitely looking to see some continuation here. If not, if we start to fall off a bit, I'll look around, I guess like 23, like 70-ish for a support bounce. But really I'm just looking for this pattern to play out properly, which is I do think is that is what we will see. Shop is another one. For Shop, we're just going to lower our time frame to the 4 hour. And as you can see, we got this nice little tight flag here of a retest of this line that we wicked earlier. So if we get a retest, we start to pull away a little bit. You can draw a flag here, but I don't really think it's worth it. Really, we're just playing off this level here. Cut below and take profits above. SQ is next. Again, we're going to lower our time frame once more to the 1 hour. And we see we got this a little sloppy, but it's still there, this nice little ascending triangle here, with all-time highs being our upper line. So not only will a break of this break the pattern, a break of this is a break of all-time highs, which should bring in some volume and extra momentum to push us a little bit higher. So again, this is probably more of a day trade, maybe a short swing, like an overnight, but this is looking very, very nice headed into this week as well. Tesla, I'm going to flip back on the daily just because we can. Tesla, really, we broke range here, but it doesn't look like the healthiest break at all. With the inclusion in the S&P, like take that with what you will. Some people think it's extremely bullish. Some people think it's kind of bearish for where the stock is right now. But in any case, my plan for Tesla is long over 700, short under 655. Just very, very basic, concrete. No need to get anything fancy. And then Zoom. This is really just on here because we did sort of magnet back up to this 410 line that we had from last week. So again, if we break above this, just to sort of reiterate, if we break above this, we should see a test of this top trend line. So we should expand this a little bit. Could pull this down. And that way, when we see a top here, some squeeze in this corner maybe, and a break up. But with stimulus being passed, vaccine out, it's kind of hard to sort of predict if Zoom is going to make a move back up in these like 400, 500 levels. That's sort of up for debate a lot. Personally, I don't think we'll really see Zoom at like these 500 levels anytime soon. So this is probably more of a short trade, but again, we'll see how the market reacts in general. As far as broad market goes, start the Qs. Break above, retest of this lower level, looks very, very healthy. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw consolidation, but it looks like we're ready for another move up. At least in the Qs, that looks fantastic. If we want to throw on the weekly too, same sort of thing. We got these lines moving, everything keeps breaking, and it looks very, very nice. SPY looks a little worse. We're still above this top trend line here, which is maybe better on the daily. Yeah, it's easier to see on the daily. We have this top trend line here. We actually made a nice little support line now at this like 364 level. So if we start to see a pullback, we have that to almost catch us, if you want to use that sort of analogy. But again, wicked this top trend line. This looks ready for at least a green move. As far as like a large move, I'm not sure. QQQ definitely looks better, but you know, we'll see how it goes. Some consolidation and then a break would be great, but overall, not looking bad at all. And then TLT, just an update on this wedge here. It looks like we are breaking below this weekly line that we have drawn. So we throw in the weekly. Looks like we are starting to maybe test this a little bit more and more. What we do have to watch out for is, let's remove trend line. Oh, we do have to kind of watch out for, since this channel is leading into like a longer dated trend line, this weekly trend line. We do have to watch for a break above here, a nice little curl. I don't think we see that, honestly. I think we see a little bit more drop, probably around like 150, 148 would be my price target here, but again, just watch out for the bounce. But other than that, we should be good. Broad market's looking very, very healthy. Got the stimulus news finally done, so that's a little bit extra volatility out of the market. Tesla being added to the S&P is a little bit, I would say, like annoying, just because that's additional factors that we have to deal with now when trading in the broad market. But that's all I have for the weekly watch list. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you click the link in the description to join the server and join the stream live. Otherwise, you're going to get delayed videos such as these. The live stream is completely free to attend. So yeah, that's it for the video.